Welcome to the official podcast series by POTENZA, where innovation meets insight. In this series, we dive deep into the world of SAP, explore the power of robotic process automation, and unlock the true potential of data analytics. Whether you're a tech enthusiast, a business leader, or just curious about the digital transformation shaping our world, you're in the right place. Tune in, stay curious, and let's explore the future of enterprise technology together. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on YouTube for more powerful insights. Now, let's get into today's episode.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're getting right into a really critical failure happening inside so many organizations. It's draining budgets, and frankly, it's frustrating executives everywhere. We're calling it the analytics paradox. You see it all the time. Companies are spending millions, multi-millions, on these amazing analytics platforms.
State-of-the-art stuff.
Exactly. Cloud infrastructure, teams of brilliant data scientists, these slick, beautiful dashboards. They have all the tools. They have the talent. But then the moment of truth comes, a huge decision. Maybe it's an acquisition, maybe it's a critical product launch, and the leaders, they pause.
They hesitate.
They hesitate. Why? Because the insights they paid so much for, well, they just don't inspire confidence.
And that hesitation, that single moment of doubt at the very top, is the most expensive red flag you can have. It points to a failing foundation. The problem isn't flashy. It's silent. It's often ignored. It's fragmented, inconsistent, and ungoverned core data. If that foundation is shaky, you're not actually generating decision intelligence. You're just producing expensive reports that executives learn to distrust.
And that is our mission for this deep dive. We are going straight to that silent foundation master data management, or MDM, to understand how it can transform analytics from a budget drain into something you can actually trust.
Something that creates real intelligence.
If you're questioning your analytics ROI, you really need to hear this. Okay, let's unpack this. Before we can even talk about solutions, we need a really clear definition. What exactly is master data?
It's the identity layer for your entire business. Think of it as the core nouns that matter.
The nouns.
Yes. Your customers, your products, your suppliers, assets, locations, your employees. It's the official dictionary that gives context to everything else that happens.
I think we need to slow down here and make the distinction really clear, because this is where it all goes wrong. Confusing activity with identity.
Absolutely. So let's take a simple bank deposit, a transaction. You really have 3 layers of data there.
Okay.
The first layer is transactional data. That's the event itself. The date, the amount, the exact time the money moved. It's the verb.
Right, the action.
Then you have analytical data. That's the summary. It adds up all those events to calculate, say, your monthly cash flow or customer churn rate. But the linchpin, the most crucial piece, is the master data. That's the identity layer. It defines who the customer is, which bank product they used, and where it all happened. Without that, the transaction is just noise.
And the analytics are basically worthless.
Completely. And what's fascinating is that organizations are finding that having less data that's more trustworthy is so much better than having these vast data lakes of questionable information.
It's a trust crisis, not a volume crisis.
Precisely. MDM creates a shared single source of business truth. We saw a perfect example of failure in the source material about supplier spend.
Oh, the IBM example.
Yes. So imagine the same supplier is in your systems as IBM, maybe International Business Machines, and then someone's nickname, Big Blue.
Right.
Your spend analysis is completely meaningless. You can't negotiate a volume discount because you don't even know if you spent $10 million with one supplier or $2.5 million with 4 different ones.
And the dashboard looks perfect. It shows 4 different rows, each with correct numbers, but the conclusion the executive draws is just fundamentally wrong.
It creates institutional self-doubt. It undermines everything.
So that's the cost. Now let's talk about the solution. You mentioned this is a continuous discipline. Why can't I just, run a big cleanup project and be done with it?
Because your business is alive. Data is constantly being created, changed, every merger, every new product. It all introduces new potential for fragmentation. MDM isn't a project, it's a program, a continuous cycle.
Okay, so what are the stages in that cycle?
It really begins with data identification and domain modeling. So before you clean anything, you have to agree on which core entities, which nouns matter most for your biggest strategic goals.
So you don't boil the ocean.
You don't. If your goal is to model customer lifetime value, you focus on perfecting the customer master. You don't waste a year cleaning asset data no one is using for a key decision.
That makes sense. Prioritize on business value. So stage 2 is the actual cleaning, standardization and harmonization.
Right. That's where you eliminate the IBM problem. You establish rules, you cleanse the data, you match and merge records to create a single golden record of truth for each entity.
But all that work is useless without stage 3, which is data governance and stewardship.
And this is the pivot. This is where MDM stops being an IT problem and becomes a business problem. You must assign business ownership.
Hold on, I want to push back on that a bit. IT runs the system. Why can't they just define the data? Isn't that their job?
Because IT can only enforce technical rules. This field must be a 10-digit number. They can't enforce the business rule.
What's an example of a business rule?
Like, a new customer is defined as any entity that purchased within the last 6 months and is not an internal employee. That's a strategic definition. IT can't make that call.
Ah, I see. So analytics fails when the data is technically clean but definitionally wrong for the business.
Exactly. The business defines correct and IT enforces consistent, which leads you right into stage 4. Data quality rules and validation.
Which I'm guessing isn't just about getting to 100% complete.
Not at all. Quality is measured by its fitness for analytical purpose. Is the data good enough for the specific model you're building? That's the only question that matters.
And finally, stage 5, the whole reason we're doing this. Distribution to analytics platforms.
Yes. You have to publish these trusted records. Every BI tool, every AI model, every pipeline has to consume the exact same entity definitions. Otherwise, you've just built a very clean, very expensive new silo.
So when you put it all together, organizations with weak MDM who skip these steps are just stuck in reactive mode.
They're driving by, looking in the rearview mirror, just making reports about what happened last quarter.
Whereas organizations with strong MDM, they can achieve predictive and prescriptive analytics.
Exactly. They shift from asking what did happen to anticipating what will happen and what they should do about it. That's the leap.
Let's make this really concrete for our listener. What are the painful day-to-day symptoms of neglecting master data?
Oh, they show up as organizational friction. The biggest one is departments with conflicting KPIs.
The classic meeting where everyone brings their own numbers.
You've got it. Finance says you have 50,000 customers. Sales insists it's 65,000. Marketing claims it's 80,000. And they're all technically right. It's tragic. They're hired to find insights, but they spend most of their time doing data janitorial work. And by the time they have a clean report, the business moment has passed. The opportunity is gone.
And all of this feeds the ultimate crisis. Executives just learn to distrust the dashboards.
Of course. If the numbers change depending on who ran the report, nobody acts. Decision velocity grinds to a halt.
So the multi-million-dollar investment just becomes wallpaper.
It's a dashboard that collapses because the foundation is mud. A modern organization needs that centralized MDM system to deliver a single source of truth that people can finally act on with confidence.
Let's ground this in a few key sectors. How does this transform a business? Let's start with manufacturing.
For manufacturers, it's about complexity. They struggle with a basic question. What's our true cost per unit globally? They have different material codes, duplicate suppliers. It's a mess.
So MDM comes in and what changes?
It creates unified control. Harmonizing the material masters enables real-time unified cost analytics. You're not waiting for a quarterly report. You can spot margin leakage today and adjust pricing tomorrow.
Okay, what about retail and e-commerce? Personalization is everything there.
Their challenge is identity. The same person shops on the app, uses a loyalty card in the store, and chats with support online. Without MDM, that's 3 different people.
So you're sending them 3 different and probably conflicting messages.
Exactly. MDM resolves that into a single golden customer record. Suddenly, your customer segmentation is accurate, your personalization is trustworthy, it becomes a revenue accelerator.
In healthcare, the stakes are obviously much higher. It's not just revenue, it's patient safety.
It is. A duplicated patient record can be genuinely dangerous. MDM enables reliable patient outcome analytics by linking every encounter across the care journey. The insight there is simple. In healthcare, master data quality equals decision safety.
Wow. And in banking and financial services, where regulation is so intense.
It's about risk. Banks need to know their total exposure to a single complex legal entity instantly. Without MDM, that's a manual, week-long fire drill. With it, risk exposure analysis becomes credible and immediate. It makes their analytics defensible.
And finally, logistics and supply chain, where it's all about speed.
Their data is so often retrospective. When a ship is delayed, they just react. MDM harmonizes their route and vendor data, enabling real-time supply chain visibility. Cost-to-serve analysis becomes a continuous insight, not a quarterly report.
Which brings us to the future, to AI and machine learning. The stakes here seem even higher.
They're exponentially higher because if you train an AI model on inconsistent data, say the AI sees 12 different versions of the same product.
It gets confused.
It's worse than that. It doesn't just produce poor results. It will confidently produce wrong results at massive scale. It learns the chaos and then operationalizes it.
So MDM provides what the experts call feature consistency, making sure the AI sees the same clean version of a customer or a product every single time.
Precisely. This reduces model bias and, frankly, lets your data scientists build models instead of cleaning data all day. The conclusion is simple. No scalable AI strategy can work without trusted master data. It's the foundation.
So for the leaders listening to this and maybe having a moment of uncomfortable recognition, what are some practical tips? Where do they start?
The first one is a big mental shift. Start with analytical use cases, not data domains.
What does that mean?
Don't declare a huge project to clean all customer data. That will fail. Instead, focus your MDM effort on, say, enabling accurate customer lifetime value modeling. That goal dictates which 20% of your customer data needs to be 100% accurate. It gives you focus.
And it ties the investment directly to a business outcome. Love that. What's tip number 2?
Design your MDM system for consumption, not storage. It's not a museum for perfect data. It's a publishing engine. It has to deliver the trusted data in the exact format your BI tools and ML pipelines need it.
And tip 3 is about mindset, right? Treat MDM as a continuous program, not a one-time project.
Forever. You have to budget for ongoing stewardship because your business is always changing.
Okay, let's flip it. What are the most common mistakes people make?
The most expensive one, by far, is treating MDM as an IT-only initiative.
We touched on this, but it's worth hitting again. What's the consequence of that?
You get technically perfect data that is strategically irrelevant. The system is clean, but the definitions don't match what the business actually needs to make a decision. And the second huge mistake is in measurement, not aligning MDM KPIs with analytical outcomes.
But wait, things like record completeness percentage, they sound important. Why is that a mistake?
Because your CEO doesn't care about a 95% match rate. They care about the business outcome that enables. Your success metrics have to be about analytical impact.
Like improved forecast accuracy.
Or reduced reporting cycle time. Or, frankly, a measurable increase in how much your executives trust the numbers. If you can't tie it to that, it's failing, no matter how technically perfect it is.
So it's clear. Master data is the force multiplier. The organizations that get this right don't just analyze better, they decide better. They decide faster and with more confidence.
Absolutely. Their executives trust the numbers, their forecasts are accurate, and those big AI investments actually start to deliver real value.
So the final question for data leaders isn't really whether to invest in MDM. It's whether they're going to keep funding analytics initiatives that simply cannot succeed without this foundation. So you have to ask yourself, is your master data supporting your analytics strategy? Or is it currently the single biggest thing limiting your competitive advantage?
If you're struggling to bridge that gap between your massive analytics spend and confident decision-making, it's time to stop looking at the pretty dashboards. You need to start digging into the foundational layer that everything else depends on.
That's a wrap for today's episode of the POTENZA podcast series, where we decode SAP, automate with RPA, and analyze with precision. We hope you found today's conversation insightful and inspiring. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and stay tuned for more deep dives into the technologies transforming tomorrow's enterprise. Got questions or ideas for a future episode? Drop them in the comments, we'd love to hear from you. Until next time. Thank you.